Hey guys, this is Jeffrey from Tutor I Hardly Know Her. I'm here to thank some of our sponsors on Patreon: Caroline Ingrid, Emily Blomer, Jackie Moore, Marlena, Melissa S., Philip Nacco, Rihanna J., and Samantha Barton. Sorry for any mispronunciations. If you wish to become one of our sponsors, go to patreon.com to our Tutor I Hardly Know Her page and pledge today. And on to our episode. Thanks.
Hey, welcome to Tutor I Hardly Know Her, the show where we talk tutors and travel through time.
Literally.
Yes.
We're time travelers.
How are we traveling? DeLorean? TARDIS?
My closet.
It
I
only
thought that
goes
was
forward.
Narnia.
No, it's my closet. You come in, I turn the lights off, and I go... And then I punch you in the face, knocking you out, and then you have a dream where, like, you're in 1776.
Mine's just a cardboard box, and it goes forward 1 second at a time.
Was that Primer?
I don't know who actually made that original joke.
There was a movie where... No, I'm thinking of... There's Primer, then there's Safety Not Guaranteed.
I've never seen either of those.
Safety Not Guaranteed, I think, is a movie where it's based on a true story where this guy put an ad in like Craigslist or a paper. He's like, hey, I'm a time traveler. I need someone to help me travel through time. Your safety is not guaranteed. And then this woman goes to like interview him, and then hijinks ensue.
Evie thinks those hijinks sound hilarious.
Anyway,
Who's in it?
I think it's Mark Duplass and Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, interesting.
That might be wrong. It sounds right. Anyway, hey, welcome to Tutor I Hardly Know Her. I'm Garrett.
I'm Emily. That is Evelyn. She's fine. All right.
God, baby.
Let's rock.
What a big baby.
Oh, God, but she's so cute.
I know.
Hey.
And for episode 99, I'm actually in the Tutor studio, or as we like to call it, the Dudio.
Yep. Garrett is here. It is a delightful weekend visit.
Tudio.
From I like that. That should be our new intro.
Except Phil Collins will sue the shit out of us.
Oh, Willie?
But then Phil Collins will get to know us.
Ooh, maybe he'll
Can
listen.
you show me?
Yeah, if Phil Collins sues us, it means he has to listen to us.
Phil Collins pays people to listen to things for him, right? Probably his own music. He doesn't even listen to his own music when he's making new music.
He has no clue
he
what
just
he's
pays
doing.
someone to listen to it. He doesn't need to know it.
What if he's
sounds
deaf?
He's never listened to music.
like. Oh my God. Scandalous. Anyway, this show's not about Phil Collins. It's about learning about Tudor history. And Emily, I can't believe we haven't done this topic yet.
I know. I'm really kind of appalled that I haven't gotten around to it. I don't know why. I actually went through all of our stuff.
You know, 99 episodes later, you get to the real obvious ones.
99 episodes, and Thomas More ain't one.
All right, we found the show title.
There we go. Today we are finally discussing the literally sainted statesman Thomas More. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
So,
Give me some more.
Thomas More has actually been named a saint. He's been canonized. He is the patron saint of statesmen and politicians.
Oh, so he's more of a devil than anything.
That's like the least sexy sainthood
Yeah.
of anything. Like
I'm the saint of bureaucrats.
the saint of bureaucracy. So,
Like, I think saint, like putting saint and politician in the same sense is a misnomer, right?
it definitely is.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine like politicians being like, "Oh God, I really hope I win this election. I'm gonna pray to Saint Thomas More."
Well, I can think of a few. Who was the last person to be canonized? Was it Mother Teresa?
I don't know. He was canonized in 2000, so was she
Oh,
canonized
shit.
before or after that?
I don't know. I feel like Mother Teresa was canonized, but I also remember reading a story where Mother Teresa was actually secretly a piece of shit.
I've read that too. That'll be an interesting discussion for another time.
Exactly.
Okay. Thomas More was born in 1478. His father was a lawyer and a judge. And
Mother Teresa was canonized 3 years ago, September 4th.
Nice.
So, coming up on an anniversary.
Happy anniversary. His father was a lawyer, and he would later become a judge, and he had 5 siblings, and that's all you really need to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
As a youth, You can tell I was reading Wikipedia. As a youth, he served as page for John Morton, the Archbishop of Canterbury. So Morton believed in humanism, and that greatly influenced More. So humanism, I feel like it's really obvious, but I guess it wasn't until the 1500s. It's attaching primary importance to human rather than supernatural or divine matters. So they value human beings, emphasized common human needs, and
Weird.
sought rational ways of solving human problems.
As opposed to
not
praying to deities, I guess.
I don't know. It baffles me.
It's like, hold on, wait a second. What if we start caring about the people around us and the people that we see?
What if every time there was a problem, we tried to figure it out?
Well, as somebody who's a patron saint of politicians, none of this makes any goddamn sense.
So Morton, the Archbishop, he nominated More to be a student at Oxford. Apparently, he had to be nominated for that, which totally explains the politician thing. And he began his studies in 1492 at the ripe age of 14.
Oh, little prodigy.
No, I just think that we're a lot dumber these days.
Yeah.
So he
Well, they
learned-
didn't live as long. They had, cram a lot in.
Oh God, yeah. So they learned Latin and Greek, or he learned Latin and Greek, and he was only there for 2 years before his father was like, no, you got to come home and study to be a lawyer. So he did that until 1502. Now, for a little while, he considered becoming a monk.
Sorry, let me interject
Yeah?
here. When it comes to like studying and like going to the schools to like learn how to do a thing, would it be anything like colleges today? That's a good just episode on its own.
I think that's an
But,
episode on its own.
Like, it was like, okay, you got to do this for exactly 8 years and get this many college credits. Probably not.
I don't know. We talked a little bit about education like 2 years ago, but I think all I remember from that is they beat their students. So I don't really. I'll have to do an episode.
So it was a Catholic school.
That would be a really interesting topic. Is the schools like the Oxford?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm gonna have to do an episode
You
on
forget
that.
those colleges are old as fuck.
They are older than the Aztec Empire.
Really?
Well, when you think it's so. I mean, we kind of talked about that last episode. Was the shit that's going on throughout the world, and you just don't really think about those things relating to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he did consider becoming a monk, which really isn't surprising given his very strict Catholicism. And so between 1503 and 1504, he was living near the Carthusian monks. And he joined them in their spiritual exercises, which I couldn't find much information on. So I just imagine them doing the rosary as they do burpees.
I thought you were going to say like yoga.
No, I think they're probably more intense than that. Like they're probably doing burpees, jump up,
I was
jumping
thinking
jack.
more like the downward Our Father
That's,
or the rising Hail Mary.
those all sound really inappropriate. Garrett,
Downward Our Father.
the downward Our Father. He decided to not become a monk. He wanted to continue his legal education and get married.
You know what? Being a pious individual sucks. Let's be corrupt as shit.
Well, no, he was actually still pious because he practiced something called asceticism, and it's abstinence from sensual pleasures.
Oh, so he lived a boring life.
Yeah, he did. He, I mean, yes and no. He did a lot
Not
of.
to say that if you're abstinent that you live a boring life.
No, but he kind of did. He lived a frugal lifestyle, wore hair shirt, and occasionally engaged in self-flagellation.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
So hate White Castles.
That's self-flatulation.
He,
Oh.
he invented White Castles.
So
I need a way to punish myself, but I also need to eat. Which is funny because every time I come into town, I always stop at White Castle because we don't have one in South Bend.
Oh, God bless South Bend. Mayor Pete's doing something right.
he's trying to save you.
He's trying to save your souls.
The rumor is that the owner of White Castle, his kid didn't get into Notre Dame, so it's like, well, fuck South Bend.
Seriously?
That's the rumor I've always heard. I don't know if that's
Okay,
true.
then what about Fort Wayne? Because there's not one in Fort Wayne either. Did he get rejected from IUPUI
No,
or
because-
IPFW?
No, because no one cares about Fort Wayne.
Nobody cares about South Bend.
The closest one is in Michigan City.
Well, Welcome to the White Cast podcast or the White Castle podcast.
That's going to be a bonus podcast that we're going to put out.
The White Podcastle.
No, stop.
The Man in the White Castle.
Yes. Okay, so back to Thomas
Trademark.
More. In 1505, he married a woman named Jane Colt. He decided that she wasn't educated enough, so he lovingly educated her and he tutored her in music and literature.
Honey, you're an idiot. Let me teach you.
Now, to be fair, it's a little nice because
I know.
they didn't really educate. Pizza's here.
Damn it, my pizza got here way too soon. Let's talk about drugs and Tudor history, man.
We already talked about medication.
I'm talking about drugs.
Can you imagine the potheads of the Tudor time? Well, man, can you imagine if someday we get around and something that moves itself
Like,
on wheels?
do we even really need the church, man?
Oh,
I
man.
think I'm just all about like free love and who's to say how many wives I can and can't have, okay?
Henry VIII started Woodstock.
Hank Stock.
Welcome to Hangstock 1536.
Here's 8 hours of Henry VIII on a hurdy-gurdy. They're like, shit, this isn't working. Behead somebody. Draw a crowd.
So, he decided to tutor his wife, Jane Colt, in music and
He
literature.
tutored her.
Oh. So they had
Drink.
4 children together. Margaret,
Wait.
Elizabeth.
He partook in sins of the flesh?
Well, it's no.
That's part of the
You
punishment.
have to. He didn't enjoy it.
I'm not going to enjoy this.
She's like, really? Like, you're making me feel really good, honey.
Well, it's okay. She died. So, so they had 4 children: Margaret, Elizabeth, Cicely, and John.
Sicily.
Sicily.
Like
Sicily.
Sicily
not,
Strong.
That's
Sicily.
not Thomas, Hank, or Charles.
No, it's not. But Jane
We'll punish
died.
her with a unique name.
No one will want to marry her, this one.
Jane died in 1511. He mourned his wife very deeply. I'm just kidding. He got remarried 30 days later.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to torture himself somehow by having this uninteresting sex.
He married a woman named Alice Harper Middleton. And in fact, he got married so quickly that he had to get a dispensation saying like, nah, it's cool. But he had a really good reputation. So they're like,
I
yeah,
am honestly
totes.
shocked every time I hear someone that with an actual unique name from like Allison. I don't think I've ever heard another Allison.
Alice.
Well, I mean, still, I've never heard
There are a handful.
exactly. Like she's like one of 5 probably the whole time period.
Yeah. They did not have any kids together, though Alice had a daughter from a previous marriage that she brought. They also became guardian to 2 children, Anne Chesaker, who later married his son John.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Anne Chesaker is her last name.
Okay.
And Margaret Giggs, who witnessed his execution. So that's why he had 2 daughters named Margaret.
So he didn't name them Margaret.
No, but it really does speak volumes about the...
Wait, did you buy the same baby naming book I did? Oh my god, you want to get married?
So Moore was very
they like the same
affectionate.
names.
Moore was very affectionate with his children. He wrote them letters very often. He also ensured his daughters had the same quality of education as his son, which, once again, kind of a big deal. It speaks to
Yeah,
humanism
that's actually
thing.
kind of shocking.
Yeah. He was very proud of especially of his daughter Margaret's education, the birth daughter, not the adopted daughter. And it actually set an example for other noble families to educate their daughters just as well. And then his political career began. In 1504, he was elected to Parliament, and he served as, oh my gosh, over the next decade, he had a lot of roles. So he served as under sheriff, which is basically like the deputy, to London.
Did anyone shoot him?
No. They shot the sheriff, but they did not shoot the under sheriff.
Okay. What about the deputy?
He was cool.
That is the under sheriff.
Okay.
He had a reputation as being an honest and effective public servant, so that's probably why he's the patron saint of bureaucratic.
Holy
That's
shit,
a
this
weird
dude's
thing to have.
honest?
I know.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to have
I
back
know.
then.
In
Today.
In 1514, he became the master of requests. Basically, it was
Stop asking for things.
it was basically small claims court. And he was also appointed a privy councillor that year. He joined Wolsey on diplomatic missions to Charles V, and Henry VIII knighted him afterwards, and he was then appointed under treasurer in 1521.
Under treasure. The treasury building up.
Yeah, they wish it was not building up. It
No.
was going. So then Henry appointed him as his personal advisor and secretary, and he started getting more and more influential. He was welcoming diplomats, drafting official documents, serving as liaison between Henry and Wolsey. So, a little bitch boy. And then in 1523, he was elected Speaker of the House of Commons. So he basically just achieved a lot of political shit, lots of power. And then 1529. So this is when it really, he had a good 2 years basically. Wolsey fell from power. We talked about that a couple times. And so More was named Lord Chancellor by Henry VIII. As soon as
we're buds. I trust you.
Totally, you're probably not going to do anything that upsets me. So More was like, I have some power. I'm a good, honest person. Let's say fuck all to the Reformation. So he did everything he could to stop the Reformation from getting any more power. And he considered, so you know how, Luther nailed 95 Theses to the door and was like, let's challenge the Catholic Church. More actually considered it a call to war.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, he actually started working before he became chancellor to kind of bring down any hint of Reformation. He and Wolsey made sure that no Lutheran books could be imported. Didn't stop it from happening, but he made damn sure to arrest people
Hey,
who had
don't bring those
anything.
books in here.
Well, he made sure anybody who had a book or published a book or sold a book was arrested and burned for heresy.
Oh, shit.
Don't even look at this book.
As they should.
So still a good guy.
Kind of, yeah. He also made damn sure that no English Bibles were there. He was very offended by the translations into English for a variety of reasons. One being that the layman shouldn't be able to read the Bible because they are not smart enough to really understand what they're reading.
Reading
And,
between the lines, that means we want to tell you what we want to tell you.
well, my favorite part is that he viewed certain words that were translated as very heretical. Do you know what those words? There's heretical translation,
Do tell.
congregation, and elder.
I'm sorry, what?
Elder.
Elder.
Can you imagine? I can feel the devil entering my soul just thinking the word.
Well, there weren't a lot of old people then anyway, weren't there?
No, they thought they believed old people were the devil. There's no way you could live.
You're living too long. You must have sold your soul.
Holy shit, you're 40? Burn 'em!
That's why the death rate was so high at such a young age.
Exactly.
Because they're like, shit, I'm getting too old. Oh, screw this.
So later Protestants accused More of torture, and at the time More did confess to having a child caned for heresy regarding the Eucharist. And I'm actually just imagining heresy during the Eucharist as he blinked too long, and More was like, smack him. And then
Or when he sticks his tongue out, he just blows a raspberry instead.
he also had a feeble-minded man whipped for disrupting prayer. So, don't cough during mass.
I imagine he was just slightly off with the rest of the congregation. Our Father, who art in heaven.
Did you see what you did wrong here? Oh.
Now you must take part in
He said-
spiritual
He
exercises.
said amen instead of amen.
Oh my God, the heresy.
Bastard.
So as Lord Chancellor, 6 people were burned for heresy. One guy was burned for having a heretical book and not recanting, and another guy was burned for selling one of the books. So he was very devoted to his Catholicism.
That's understatement so far.
Yeah, it didn't really bode well in the 1530s because a certain king was like, I don't really like Catholicism anymore. So this is the beginning of the end of Thomas More. So in 1530, a letter was sent to the Pope. Henry VIII demanded it. That was supposed to be signed by a bunch of privy councilors and parliament members and whatnot, asking the Pope for Henry's annulment from Catherine of Aragon. Well, More was like, nah, I'm good. Then in 1531, the Oath of Supremacy came out. So this was the oath that Henry VIII wanted everybody to take, saying, I'm the supreme head of the church. And of course, this was a problem because they all viewed the Pope as the supreme head of the church. So More refused to sign the Oath of Supremacy, but he did say, I won't speak my opinion on your marriage, Henry. And Henry was like, okay, that'll do. And then in 1532, he resigned as chancellor. He was just getting a little too uncomfortable with Henry's policies.
I burned enough people.
Yeah. Henry VIII was like, okay, that's totally cool. Like, I still love you. I still trust you, even if you don't want this position, for like 6 months. And then in 1533, everything went to hell. So he refused to attend Anne Boleyn's coronation, although he had sent Henry a letter acknowledging Anne as queen and telling Henry he wanted nothing but his happiness and he wanted Anne to be healthy. So you'd think the letter would help, but it was kind of viewed as a snub. So
I wish nothing but the best for you and that wild little tart that you decided to marry.
I love you and Queen Tart should have all the happiness.
I'm so happy for you two. I just can't wait to see all the great things Anne's gonna do.
And they're like, how did he get sarcasm to come through a letter?
He invented italics.
So shortly after not attending, he was actually charged with accepting bribes, and I didn't know about that.
Whoa.
So he was actually, they were kind of going after him legally for a little bit before he was actually, caught.
Mm-hmm.
So he was charged with accepting bribes, but they didn't have any evidence, so he was released.
What were their grounds? Like, what are the?
Well, that's the thing. They didn't have grounds, so they
Okay.
released him.
But did he actually take the bribes?
No.
Oh,
And then in 1534, fucking Cromwell accused him of
Cromwell.
giving advice to the Holy Maid of Kent. The Holy Maid of Kent was the woman we've talked about before, who had a prophecy saying if Henry married Anne, dogs would lap his blood and shit like that.
Not nearly as bad as I would think.
Yeah, just like
Just,
predicting the king's
my,
death.
my dogs are just licking my blood. Okay. Thanks.
I imagine she's just a withered old crone with a robe and like
No,
one
no,
good
she was
eye.
a young girl.
No.
We've talked about the Maid of Kent.
If Henry marries her, dogs will lap at his blood. Beware.
Beware the
But she
dogs.
was like
march.
19 and just smoking hot, but she just sounded like that. Lifelong smoker.
I smoke 13 packs a day, honey. It's all right.
It's like Dr.
She's got a stoma.
Dr. Girlfriend from
Gross.
Venture Brothers.
It's all right, honey.
Oh, gross.
Beware the dogs in the Mary.
So, Cromwell accused More of giving advice to the Holy Maid of Kent, and he kind of did. He met with her, but his advice was like, chill the fuck out. So he was called before the Privy Council to answer for it, but nothing was found, so like, whatever. But then in April of 1534, he was told he had to swear allegiance to the Act of Succession, and that was the one that said Henry and Anne's children will come first in line for the throne. So, and like she was queen and all that shit. And More refused. So, he told Parliament, I acknowledge that you guys are able to name her the legitimate queen, but spiritually she's not really because Henry's still
AKA.
married.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. So he refused to sign it and he was arrested for treason. So Cromwell actually visited More in prison and he was like, please take the oath. And More was like, nah, I'm good. Now, in this case, treason was defined as malicious silence, which sounds like a D&D thing, like viciously taunt.
It's like a third level bard spell.
Yeah, malicious silence. According to the Treason Act of
Extreme silent treatment.
According to the Treason Act of 1534, it was treason to speak against the king's supremacy, and the malicious silence meant that he was essentially speaking against the king's supremacy, even though he wasn't saying anything.
You're giving us a weird look. Stop looking at that with your eyes. What? He's doing it again.
And so, so he went to trial, and there was kind of a set standard that one who keeps silent seems to consent. So whenever they asked his opinion on something, no, that was his thing, and he was a lawyer, so he knew he could have gotten away with it. So he refused to answer questions that they posed to him about his opinion on the king's supremacy, and he was hoping that would avoid him being convicted. And then somebody named Richard Rich stepped up and was like,
Hold on.
yeah, Richie Rich.
Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin, time traveler, went back. And so Richard Rich came forward.
His
and
parents absolutely knew what they were doing.
Oh, God, yeah. Maybe he'll be
We're
double
super
wealthy.
poor, but if we name him Richie Rich, you can give us lots of money.
Rick Rich.
So Dick Rich came forward and
Thank you.
so he came forward and he claimed that More had talked to him and said Henry VIII was not the supreme head of the church. More was like, if I'm not answering you guys, why would I go and tell this jackass anything? But okay.
Like, I'm not saying yes, but I'm not
The
saying
jury,
no.
the jury debated for a grand total of 15 minutes before coming back and finding him guilty. So More was like, all right, well, if you think I'm guilty, then fuck you, Henry VIII. Henry VIII is not the supreme head of the church. So he was sentenced to be hanged, drawn, and quartered. Henry VIII was kind and was like, just chop his head off.
Oh.
So,
So kind.
so kind.
Couldn't Thomas More have just said, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever. I believe that those kids are."
No, his soul wouldn't let him. People were telling him to do it even if he didn't believe it, but he was like, no, my soul. It'll be in danger.
People and their consciences.
All right, let's talk about the Puritans for a fucking minute because I'm reading a book called Flight of the Sparrow right now. And it's about a woman from Puritan America who's captured by Native Americans. And it's like 1660s or something thereabout.
1666.
So she's super Puritan. She lives with Puritans and her husband's a minister, which is awful. So in the book, one of her children dies and her husband is like chastising her and being like, you shouldn't be attached to your children because you're not allowed to, like, you can't mourn. That's a sin. Mourning is a sin and you're not allowed to be attached to your children. And it was just, I was like listening to it. It's an audiobook. Audible.com/tutor. It's an audiobook.
We don't do that.
No, we don't. I don't actually think that's the thing anyway. But I was listening to it and I was just saying out loud, fuck Puritans. Like, you can't mourn your children. That's a sin. Fuck, what assholes.
People so anal, even the British were like, please get out of our country.
But, oh, fucking Puritans. Anyway.
Go to Roanoke and get lost.
So on July 6th, 1535, he died. And his last words were, he said, I die the king's good servant and God's first. So he was, still saying, fuck you, Henry. So Margaret, his adopted daughter, witnessed his execution, and she was given the corpse for burial, and he was buried in the Tower of London, and Margaret, his birth daughter, got his head.
Aww.
And good news, the hair shirt was preserved. So if you want to see Thomas More's hairy shirt, you can go see it in England.
I thought you were going to say his
I'm
head.
gonna look this up.
No.
Like, you can go see his head on display.
It is, yeah.
Thomas
They've preserved it.
More's.
So did they tell her she was going to get the head, or she just, like, opened her...
I don't know.
Like, one day, guy manager shows up with a box, and she's
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
what's this? Jesus Christ!
I love how like the pictures of Thomas More's hair shirt is like enshrined, and there's just like
Well,
it's the holiest.
he was
of
so
holy fucking
He's a
uncomfortable.
relics.
martyr.
He
He's
was so
considered a
uncomfortable
martyr.
in this.
Oh, that looks terrible. Oh no.
I want to see
Hair
it.
shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you not seen it, Chuck?
I mean, I have images of, like, I just visualize, like, a really fluffy shirt, but it's on the inside of you. And it's just-
Imagine your grandma made you a really shitty sweater.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, imagine that you grew a really large beard, shaved it off, and then your grandma made a sweater.
In SpongeBob, he makes a whole sweater out of his eyelashes for Squidward. That's what
Yeah, that's a better.
That's what I visualize.
No, he made he made a sweater out of his tears.
He did that after Squidward didn't like the other one.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't question me on SpongeBob, Emily.
Sorry,
He's got a
Jeffrey.
point. Don't do it.
By the way, we have another podcast coming out about SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh my god, I will totally do a SpongeBob SquarePants podcast.
Do it. What would you call it?
I don't know.
SpongeBob Pod Pants.
No. Pod pant. No.
Sponge Pod
Square.
cast.
Squarecast.
Yeah.
I bet that's taken.
Oh, I bet it is.
Yeah. Hair shirt still available. You can go see it.
Also, we're making our own branded Tudor I Hardly Know Her hair shirts.
Straight
Now
from
through
Jeff's
Cafe
beard.
Press.
Yeah, it's all grown out of Jeff's beard, and there's a little extra hairy surprise.
Every hair shirt comes with a little piece of Jeff.
And every month we get a little bit from Garrett.
If you pay extra, it'll be dandruff free.
That reminds me of, remember in Ren and Stimpy, the Christmas yak?
I did not watch Ren and
He'd
Stimpy.
come into your house and shave his beard in your sink, and then that was your gift. His
Jesus,
leftover
that show was
shavings.
weird. But that brings up the question: who provided the hair for the hair shirts? Was it like
Was it animal or
virgin
was it
hair, animal hair?
virgin hair? I like to wear hair that has been fucked before.
Just the worst pubes. The grossest of pubes.
It's Henry VIII after a week of binge.
This is Pube Village.
Like in
where
South
we
Park, where
keep
Cartman
all
buys
our-
Scott Tenorman's pubes.
This is just where we keep all the people who give us their pubes for hair shirts.
What?
Get in line. Time
Or-
for the community shaving.
Community delousing and hair shirt extravaganza.
Oh my god. That barber probably made so much money.
How awful.
Silices were originally made from sackcloth or coarse animal hair, so they would irritate the skin.
Yeah.
Well, I figured, yeah, it's coarse hair. but
Other
I'm trying to
features
think
were
of
added
anim-
to make them more uncomfortable, such as thin wires or twigs. Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, you know what, the hair shirt's not enough. Let me get hair underwear.
This is a hair
I
thought.
was thinking that.
Just walking like a cowboy, bow-legged as shit.
It rubs my thighs in all the wrong ways.
They're just sitting down at court, and he's just like constantly squirming in his seat.
That's how
I feel closer to God already.
trivia. That's how John Wayne got his walk.
Tudor history.
I put on my hair pants and I got off my horse.
Holy shit.
Oh, God.
This might have been one of my favorite episodes we've done.
That was a good one.
This
My
is so
fingers.
good.
Yeah. Oh, so that's it for Thomas More, which I'm so sorry it took us so long to get to this topic.
It was worth it.
I really thought we actually talked
I
him
kinda
because,
thought we
well,
did too.
His name is
Too
comes
many
up.
Thomases.
Well, his name comes up so much because he is like in the background of
Oh my
everything
God,
going
he's so
on.
important. Yeah.
So it's weird that we never have talked about him exclusively.
BB.
It's funny how he's like this all. It's funny how he did get married like so freaking quickly for a guy who's like so renowned for like he's such a stickler about everything.
Right? Yeah. He's like, oh, gotta wear the hair shirt. Oh my God, can you imagine
But I
having
can't
sex
be
with somebody with a
but
hair
I can't
shirt
be
on?
single for less than a month.
Like, do you think he takes it off for sex?
She's like, no, leave it on.
No, but then she gets all chafed, or she sees his oozy chest.
That's how he makes sure he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
He wears like the Mormon underwear, but it's made of hair.
The hair
shirt.
condom.
Oh, no.
It's the hair condom.
Ooh.
Oh,
Or
God,
like
we have
he
to
goes
stop.
into like his closet, brings out like a thong that's made out of like hair. He's like, hey, baby.
Let's mix it up tonight.
It's just like propping up his leg on the bed, like
It's going to hurt me as much as it's going to hurt you.
Oh my God.
But it's played on a hurdy-gurdy.
I still want that hurdy-gurdy.
the kit we saw online.
Yes. If anybody is trying to think of a Christmas gift for me, please.
It was just your birthday.
Guys, all of our Patreon money is actually going to the hurdy-gurdy.
We said we were spending it on important things, but
But the hurdy-gurdy is the most important of said things.
So how old was he when he died? Do we have
Oh,
a general
shit.
age at
15,
all?
let's see. He was born 1478 or 2. I said one or the other. My notes are over there, and I've got the baby. No, Garrett. Blah, blah. He died in 1535.
1535.
Yeah.
So he was probably around 60.
60. Wow.
too old.
Actually, that's pretty impressive. I don't know why, but
Especially for someone who was
The hair
you said-
shirt.
Yeah, he was born in 78 is when he was born.
well, if you look at the Tudors, which isn't historically accurate, I know.
Well, that's
but
why he had to be beheaded.
always
he was
portrayed.
Getting, he was getting too old.
Yeah.
He must have been a demon.
Damon. Chop his head off.
Damon.
Damon.
Well, I mean, you're saying Tudor is like he was portrayed as old. Like, do you?
No, young.
Oh, young.
He-
Whoa.
I mean, not super young, but not 60.
Oh.
Like 40s.
Well, I mean, that's old.
I mean, that's Tudor old.
Yeah. And in a show about young, sexy people, like the people
Can't
who
have
aren't
any of
really,
those old, nasty saggies back
yeah,
there.
anybody
With their hair
having
pants.
sex.
And a hair hat.
My hair hat, my hair gloves, my hair socks, and hair shoes.
Isn't a hair hat redundant? Anyway, Emily, thank
You
you
have to
very much for this episode.
You are welcome.
Sorry, you have to. I was just envisioning you have to shave your hair and then make a hat out of it and then put it back on.
That's called a wig.
No.
But no, you make it into the shape of you like it to like knit it into the shape of a hat.
Oh,
like a balaclava. Isn't that what they're called?
the one
Those-
you pull over your face when you're robbing a bank.
My hair balaclava. My hair mitten.
Did you see the? This is way off topic. My girlfriend showed me a video where it's a guy. He's like He's like in the kitchen. He's baking, and he's just he keeps baking. And it's like very slow, and like he's making this awesome looking thing. Then he pulls out a gun, and then it cuts to a guy that he's robbing a bank with wearing a balaclava, and he walks up with baklava on his head. He goes, "Oh, I got confused. I'm sorry."
Oh God.
I love the internet. Oh, I think that's it for this episode, guys.
Yeah. How can you find us?
You can email us at tutorknowher@gmail. You can tweet to us at tutorknowher, or you can find us on Facebook at Tutor I Hardly Know Her.
You can also find us on Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon.
Check out our Patreon. We've got a couple different things we're offering. Our very first book club is about to start. I've narrowed down the choices. I'm gonna choose one and announce it this week, so it's not too late to join. You can get all the bonus episodes by being a Patreon member at any level, and
If you have ideas of Patreon episodes you like that are not like
Yes.
heavy tutor related like we do on our free podcast, if you have ideas you want us to do for the Patreon stuff, like this bonus stuff, we'd be happy to take any kind of suggestions.
The first episode of the bonus one should be up now, shouldn't
Yep,
it?
It is.
I
Yep.
upload our commentary of the Spanish Princess.
Princess, Spanish princess.
Yes,
Spanish princess.
Garrett did that the entire time. I had to re-listen to it.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You seriously went through the whole song, and there's Emily I still talking over you.
Yep.
Maybe I should donate $1 so I can listen to the podcast.
So until next time, guys.
Divorced, beheaded, died.
Divorced,
Beheaded,
beheaded, survived.
Goodbye.